A few days ago, the Rolling Stone, you know, that amazing pop culture website and magazine that has amazing music lists that everybody agrees with, decided to talk about film. They decided to talk about the 50 worst decisions in movie history. And this list, well, it starts off normal enough, you know. Waha, Wacky Hugh Grant gets a blowjob. Whoa, Will Smith turns down some roles. Whoa, Michael Bay did Pearl Harbor. It starts off as normal as a list could, you know. But as you keep on going down, it just keeps on getting weirder. There are things in this list that I do agree with. For example, number 35, the MPAA begins assigning letter grades to movies target sexual violence. That's a sincere problem with the industry. For example, these age ratings are too objective, and therefore the art that is intended for a specific audience doesn't get to be showcased to that audience. I feel like it's a massive concern, and people like Scorsese or De Palma or even Tarantino have talked about this before, and you can probably watch many interviews of them complaining about the age ratings.
I've been battling with the ratings board since Greetings, and it came to a conclusion over Scarface. I submitted it 3 times, and it kept on getting X's, and then I said, absolutely, I'm not changing it anymore. And everybody was very unhappy with me. And what I did that really drove them all crazy, which is always the big controversy on Scarface, is that I put everything back in. Because I said, if I'm going to get an X on version 3, I'm going with the original version. It's all X to me.
There's also stuff like number 34, Michael Cimino making Heaven's Gate, therefore killing the 70s auteur period. That is a massive tragedy when it comes to creative control and creative freedom when it comes to filmmaking. There's tons of amazing videos about Heaven's Gate. It was a massive flop made by an auteur director who had a couple of critically acclaimed hits under his belt. And the problem with the movie was that it just was a massive flop and it cost too much and there was tons of behind the scenes delays and such, and therefore this movie it wasn't exactly worth the gamble that the producers and studios took for it to be made.
In the 70s, you know, was a different thing. The 70s is sort of like a golden age of American cinema, along with the 50s and the 40s and 30s, because you had a lot of actual personal films, original voices making films. Robert Altman, Bogdanovich, Cimino, a whole bunch of Coppola, Spielberg started, all Lucas, all of that sort of thing, and De Palma. And at that time, it was the time of the director. Up until we were finishing Raging Bull. Raging Bull was at the same studio as Heaven's Gate. Which
Cimino
made, which is actually quite an extraordinary movie. But what happened was that it went way over budget. Next thing you know, it opened. It closed in one night because of one bad review, I understand. The film was cut, and we opened 9 days before that.
So
we went down with it.
So they were kind of running interference for you in a way.
In a funny way, they were sort of running interference because they had to deal with that film, which is, as I say, some extraordinary stuff in that film, and hasn't really been given its due. But that ended a period of filmmaking in America, which is more personal, I think, and it's a problem now to get the pictures made.
But stuff like number 34 and number 35 on this list are real things. But I can't take them seriously because they're on the same list and then get overshadowed by stuff like this. Number 33, sewing up Deadpool's mouth in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Wow, this superhero movie, sewing up Deadpool's mouth, is on the same list as number 41, including an R scene in Revenge of the Nerds. There's stuff in this list that are about cast choices and casting choices for actors and such and roles, and there's stuff in this list about actual money and income and profits that studios have made, and then really weird, controversial and badly aged stuff like the Revenge of the Nerds thing. And then there's stuff like flipping, Deadpool's mouth was shut. And it makes no damn sense why this is on the same list as this other stuff, because one, it isn't as serious, and two, because Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds himself, had a second chance with the character and gets to joke about this a lot in that movie. I made a shitload of money by being Deadpool. Honestly, Deadpool should be on this list. Just Deadpool existing should be on this list, because that in its own self has taken us as a society back 20 years, because so many stupid superhero movies and edgy comedies have tried to copy Deadpool, and it's been so cringy for our society.
Hey Walmart shoppers, David Harbour here. You trying to find my new movie, right? Well, it's right there at your local Walmart, and if you buy it here today, you get this exclusive bonus, a digital download of one of my exciting graphic novels, only at Walmart.
Number 29 on this list was Howard the Duck nearly kills the Marvel Cinematic Universe before it even begins. But it didn't, did it, Rolling Stone? Because the normal little kid or adult who watches the big blockbusters that come out doesn't even know this movie is connected to the MCU, do they? They don't even know this movie is about a superhero character. They are more used to the weird little Howard the Duck from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, was an Easter egg in those, than they are this character from the 80s movie. I hate how people think this movie is like a massive thing. It isn't, okay? Only boomers and people on the internet know about it. Number 22, The Good Earth casts white people as Chinese farmers. Yes, this one should probably be higher up on the list. It does suck that, you know, white people have just been playing minorities and you know, painting their faces to players for like years now. And this movie was one of the first big ones, if I'm right. And it does suck, honestly. But I can't take the positioning and this seriously, because number 21, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway are handed the wrong envelope at the Academy Awards. How is this fucking higher than it? Number 19 is Whoopi Goldberg teams up with a dinosaur detective. Wow, that definitely was worse than white people being racist. Number 16 is Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is probably the most enjoyable part about that movie. Phantom Menace sucks. I hate this whole new revival of prequel fans talking about how good it is and how it was misunderstood and underappreciated. No, those movies came out, they sucked, we moved on, and you guys have heavy nostalgia for these crappy movies. They suck. Just grow up, and stop watching these crappy movies. Stuff like hooking young Judy Garland on pills, using untrained animals in movies, Mickey Rooney's racist caricature of a Japanese person at Breakfast at Tiffany's, Ronald Reagan ratting on all the good writers and calling them communists. All that stuff is really important and really high up on this list, but it doesn't fucking matter when all of it is just behind Phil Lord and Christopher Miller getting fired from Solo midway through production. Yes, the Rolling Stone believe that number 6, Phil Lord and Chris Miller leaving Solo, is worse than a whole history of racism, animal abuse, people abuse, and just anything that comes close to that. Oh damn, number 7, 3 people die whilst working on The Twilight Zone. You know, John Landis gave these people a seal of approval, these 2 children and an adult, to work, and they died under his watch. That was really tragic and sad. It's a shame the Will Smith slap was way more sad and damaging and heartbreaking than it. Yes, Rolling Stone, number 4, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Academy Awards. They think Will Smith slapping another rich dude in a 2-second fucking segment of the Oscars was worse than all of the things on this damn list. They think that slap is the most disrespectful, embarrassing, and offensive display by an actor ever. The Will Smith slap, it was really devastating. It was worse than world hunger, racism, abuse, anything in this world that is actually bad. It was worse than that. But there's only like 3 things that are actually worse than the Will Smith slap, and one of them is this. Number 2, Burt Reynolds turns down James Bond, The Godfather, Star Wars, Pretty Woman, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I like Burt Reynolds. I like him in Boogie Nights. You know, Boogie Nights is an awesome movie. He's good in that. There's only one problem with this, though. He doesn't fit any of these fucking roles. Like, he doesn't fit any of them. I can't see him as James Bond. He's flipping American. I can't see him in The Godfather. He's the most American dude to ever exist. I can't see him playing Han Solo or Luke Skywalker. I can't see him in Pretty Woman. Okay, maybe that one's like the closest. I One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you really want to compete against Nicholson? He is not a good fit for any of these roles, and I don't know if it's because he rejected them, or, you know, he was offered some of these roles and such. Maybe that's why it's such a regret for him and his career. But one, it's honestly not. You know, he was already an iconic TV star and movie star with Smokey and the Bandit. And 2, this is not the second worst thing of all time to ever happen in the film industry. Harvey Weinstein isn't even properly mentioned in this list. Yeah, that's not even mentioned in this list. Polanski isn't even on this list, I don't think. Yeah, Roman Polanski is not on this list. He's run away scot-free. And number 1, racist movie The Conqueror gives its cast cancer, probably definitely kills John Wayne. John Wayne is a piece of shit. He's done a lot of bad things, and he was also racist. So I don't think I really care about his death. And it's definitely not the #1 worst tragedy to happen on this list. So yeah, that was a Rolling Stones movies list. It's honestly one of the worst lists I've ever fucking seen. Polanski, Weinstein, and actual R-word and you know, pedophilia that actually happened in the real world from the industry is not even mentioned here. Instead, it's replaced by Cats Exist, The Love Guru was made, Howard the Duck, Deadpool shuts his mouth, ah, so zany. So yeah, it really shows where Rolling Stone's integrity is, and you know what they actually do care about when it comes to film and the industry. And this list was a train wreck of a list. It was shameful. It was embarrassing. It was disrespectful. I just thought this would be like a fun and interesting little video to make. That's it, really. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, because I'm on the road to 1K. I really want to get to 1K. I really want to secure the bag. And it would mean a lot to me if you did subscribe. Adi out.